We'll go. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Lincoln Government Day, April 5th. And this is an official meeting of the Board of County Commissioners. My name is Andy Hunthausen. To my left, Commissioner Tom Rolfe.
Morning, Mr. Chairman.
Roger Balt, our Chief Administrative Officer. Jenny Chambers, Director of Public Works. Kevin Horn, he's all things roads and bridges and whatnot. Whatever, yeah, that's right. To my right, Commissioner Candace Payne. Good morning. We have Deputy Taylor, Sheriff's Office, and Captain, right? Captain Braun from Highway Patrol. Welcome to everyone. We have some other special guests that we'll introduce as we go along here, but we'll stop there for the moment. Just a couple of housekeeping items. We've explained this in previous meetings. We have a lot more people in the room, but we're kind of stepping up our game a little bit. Last legislative session, they passed a law that we are required now to videotape all of any meeting when there's a quorum of the Board of County Commissioners, and we have to post that meeting online and all that. In the past, for the Lincoln meetings, we've always had an audio recording and minutes, but now we have to have a video recording as well. So with that, as we go through our agenda, we call on speakers, those kinds of things. We'd like everyone that are speaking to come to the podium and provide their presentation or their comments or whatever. If you are providing public comment, when I ask for public comment, you can do it from your seat, but we'd like you to stand so the video can maybe catch you and at least say your name, and if you're from Lincoln, for the record, so we have a record of who's given public comment at our meeting. As well, that sign-in sheet that we're passing around is really important. We'd like a good record of who's attended our meeting, so we'll pass around the sign-in sheet. And sir, I'm afraid that you're standing right in front of the video there. There's a chair for you. How's that? You got us all?
We're good.
You the podium as well?
Yep, I got the podium.
All right, thank you very much. Yes, I just mentioned that, but I'll say it again. So when you stand up and give public comment, we need you to clearly state your names, and so we have a good record of who's on. So that law actually goes into effect July 1, I believe, is when we have to have it officially up and running, so we're practicing. So, if we don't get things exactly right, it's okay. But we're trying to get ourselves used to this new format. So, if you'd help us out, I'll try and guide you if I can. If I don't remember, someone will jump in and help me. So there we go. Again, good morning. We've done introductions. We'll start with reports, and Deputy Taylor, we'll start with you. Good morning.
Good morning, thank you, Commissioners. Good morning, everybody. I'm Deputy Taylor with the Sheriff's Office. I'm the Augusta resident deputy currently. So I'm here for the sheriff today, and I don't have a whole lot for you, but I have a few things. So I think it was brought up last meeting that the new Lincoln resident deputy has been hired. He's currently going through training, but the whole training probation period will be about a year, so it's going to be a little while before he's up here. So in the meantime, we do have Deputy Steiner, who's going to be up here filling in that position, but he does not live up here, and he will be commuting. So when he's not here, I'm filling in for him in the Lincoln area. So feel free to call me if you have any questions or problems with anything. And I'm more than happy to give anybody my phone number if they want to give me a call, or I can post it out somewhere in the community. So we also have the Wolf Creek deputy, who does not live up here either. That is a commute position. So he does come up here, but he also fills in when I'm not here, or the Lincoln deputy is not here. He's filling in that position also. But as far as response time goes, if he's coming from Wolf Creek, that is a long way to drive to come up to a call. So let's see, the other thing the captain had, he wanted me to mention, If anybody in the Lincoln community is gonna have any type of event this summer, they want law enforcement presence there, we're more than happy to do that, to bring a couple extra deputies up here. But we need to know a little bit in advance to have that done, to make sure that we can coordinate getting deputies up here to do that. So I know last year we came up here for a couple of different events. We had the side-by-side up here for the, what was that, the quad, was it the poker run?
Yeah.
Was it last week? So that was a fun event, didn't have any problems with it, but if you want us to do that, let us know several weeks in advance would be good, at least, so that we can get that done. So, other than law enforcement up here, it's been fairly quiet. We did pick up a guy with a $100,000 warrant yesterday here in Lincoln. For a sexual assault, so he's currently booked into jail right now, so he's out of the community. Other than that, there hasn't been a whole lot up here. Starting to see a little bit more traffic. So if there are any traffic complaints, speeders generally is what I get, especially in Augusta. Feel free to call and let us know where the problem areas are. We'd be more than happy to come up here and run some traffic. So, anybody have any questions for me?
Questions for Deputy Taylor? Oh,
I've got a
Commissioner.
question.
Yes.
Deputy Taylor, have you had any, I know previously we were having trouble finding housing for our deputies both in Augusta and in Lincoln. Is that still a problem, or did you
So I don't know,
figure it out?
with Deputy Hill, I don't know what his arrangements are. At this point though, he's gonna be in the valley, so he's not gonna be living up here, from what I understand. I know it was really hard for me to find a place up in Augusta. We couldn't even find something to buy, so I'm just renting a place up there. So housing is really tight up here.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other questions for Deputy Taylor? Any questions? Okay, I appreciate you being
Thank
here.
you.
Thank you so much. Captain Brown. And you have a colleague with you today, so.
Yes.
Great.
And I'll introduce her.
Welcome, yes.
Justin Braun, I'm the district commander for the Highway Patrol, serving Butte and Helena areas. Business regarding Big Highway Patrol, we do have a new colonel as of 2 days ago, Kurt Sager. And he grew up in the Deer Lodge area, so he is fairly familiar with the area, and his family does have a cabin up here near Lincoln, so he is pretty familiar with the needs and area up here in Lincoln, so hopefully we can use him to leverage getting more support up here and getting a trooper back up here in Lincoln. We also have several retirements at the command level coming up, so we're kind of in a transition state at the upper levels of the organization. Hopefully those will stabilize within a couple months and we'll get those ironed out. At the local level, we are still 3 people short in the Helena area with the 2 detachments there. We are getting one out of this recent hiring cycle. But again, as Deputy Taylor indicated, we don't just hire them and they start, 2 weeks later. It's a long process. So that individual will be on board and available probably the beginning of November. So other than that, we're gearing up for construction season and tourist season up here in Lincoln. And with our current staffing, we should be able to start rotating people up into the Lincoln area, but obviously we don't have a resident trooper up here. My associate that I brought with me, Jackie Chuzinski, is our comm center manager. So any calls, we have a statewide call center for the entire state. It's all housed in Helena, so we don't have like local dispatching for the eastern part of the state out there. It's all routed through Helena, so I'm gonna invite her up to kind of just give a brief overview of how routing, if you call 911, where that call goes, if you call us directly, what happens with that, and that's all I have from my level.
Thank you, sir. If you just introduce yourself for the record, that'd be great, and welcome. Glad you're here. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jackie Kuzinski. I work for the Montana Highway Patrol. I've worked for the patrol for 16 years now. I'm originally from Butte.
Wait a minute, are you related to Ted?
Kuzinski.
Oh.
But just to be clear, I actually was overseas in the military when we first heard about Ted Kaczynski on the radio, and we could not clearly hear if it was a K or a T, and I did get many, many questions at that time before we saw it in print if I was related to that guy, so no, not Ted. But I do run the Montana Highway Patrol Communication Center. We are the largest and one of the most busiest communication centers in the state. And we don't dispatch just for the Highway Patrol. We dispatch for Fish, Wildlife, and Parks. We dispatch for motor carrier services. We work very closely with the Department of Transportation. We dispatch for probation and parole. We dispatch, or we provide some dispatch services just recently, as of this week, for the United States Fish and Wildlife Service. So we do a lot in our communication center, not just Highway Patrol dispatch. And so for you in the community, that means, of course, when you need a warden, when you need Fish and Game, right, to respond to something that's going on, when you need a Highway Patrol trooper, if there's something going on with dyed diesel issues or other sorts of commercial motor vehicles rolling through town, and like logging truck crashes, right? Things that motor carrier services might need to respond to, we're gonna get those people up here too. And I just echoing what they say, we don't have a trooper currently up here. It used to be Jesse Short and various other people, before that. So what that means for us, of course, is that when you need somebody and you call into the communication center and you need that help, we're gonna call out a trooper. We're gonna wake him up, but he's most likely gonna respond from Helena, right? Until we can get, someone else who's up here. So just echoing what he said, just please keep in mind that those sorts of response times. So we also work, of course, very, very closely with the sheriff's offices. So regarding Lewis and Clark, of course, what we want you to do first for any kind of emergencies is call 911. But then what's going to happen is that 911 dispatcher is going to determine what type of call that is. And if it's Highway Patrol jurisdiction or Fish and Game or whatever, they're going to go ahead and transfer you, right, to us. And then we're going to be the ones who actually take care of whatever your needs are. And so I just appreciate that Captain Braun invited me along today so that I could, better tell you how the Highway Patrol can serve you for a range of different things. So, any questions?
Questions for the Montana Highway Patrol?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much for being here. Appreciate both of you being here today. All right, we're going to move on to Community Council. Zach, good morning, sir.
Good morning. Zach Muse, Chair of the Community Council. I don't have much that isn't Public Works, so I'll let Public Works handle that side of it. The Envision Lincoln, whatever community development deal, Envision Lincoln's kind of dead, but it's still got the same work going on. It's community development now. So they got a grant to have a person, instead of having public meetings and all that, they'll have a person that will come and visit you, whether it be the civic organizations or somebody that's interested. They'll come, set up a time to meet with you at home or work or wherever you want. So look forward to that happening. Roger, what did you?
They will be setting up meetings, but they're gonna do it more individually. So
Okay, so they will be, there will be public meetings, but they'll be more of like a group setting.
businesses and
So they'll come to High Country and talk to those folks, or Mountain View Co-op, or that kind of stuff. But other than that, don't really have anything else unless anybody has questions for Community Council.
Do you want to mention something about LPP, what we're doing next week?
Like prosperity.
That's not Community Council.
Oh, I'm just saying if you
Oh.
wanted to mention something
So the
where Bill's
Lincoln
going next
Prosperity
week.
proposal that most of you heard about, it's still ongoing. It's kind of in Senator Daines's hands. Bill's here, and then another couple guys are going to Washington DC to meet with them and see if we can't prod them into taking some action on this bill. This is the one that deals with federal lands around Lincoln, changing some designations from roadless areas to not roadless areas, forest management areas, so that the Forest Service can do some more work in there. Not clear cutting, we don't do that anymore, but get rid of all that red and dead. And then some trail areas for motorized. Of Of course, there'll be some wilderness, it's a compromise, so there's a little bit of everything for everybody. So there'll be a few wilderness additions, some conservation management areas, basically meaning what goes on today will go on tomorrow. There'll be no new mines in those areas, but if there's a mine today, there'll be a mine there tomorrow. So basically the whole thing is it's a group effort to make the woods, the forests, the federal lands more enjoyable for everyone. If you like wilderness, we'll be having wilderness. If you like motorized, we're gonna add some motorized. If you like, seeing the timber come off the hillsides and get rid of the dead gray wood and the fire hazard, there's gonna be some of that. So it's a win-win. If you have questions on that, feel free to ask me or Bill Sear or Ron Czar, Pat Hagan. There's a bunch of us. That's about it. Anything else?
Thanks, Zach.
Yeah, Zach, I thought, we've got a lot of new folks here. You might tell them a little bit more about the community council and how you get involved in that.
Okay, community council we don't have any authority over anything. We're a decision kind of making group. We help the commissioners make decisions for Lincoln. So if we will come up with an idea that we want to cut all the trees in Hooper Park, and the community's all behind it, we go to the commission and say, hey, cut all the trees in Hooper Park. Okay, so, that's kind of stuff.
It's not one of the ideas.
No. I hope you figured that out. But basically, we're an advisory board that gives ideas to them, or they come to us when they have projects going on and get our input. The deal is that we're representing the community. If the community comes to us, we go to the commission. If the community doesn't come to us, and we get maybe 2 people on average, probably on average 1, every community council meeting. And so then we have to make the best decisions we can for Lincoln. And that's a lot of pressure on us. We're here to help the community. The community needs to come, show up and give us ideas and help us out. Otherwise, you're stuck with our decisions. So please, third Tuesday every month, 6:30 right here. So please come down, see what's going on. When we do meet, we have Andy, right now it'll be a commission member. They'll be on Zoom. We'll have Public Works on Zoom. There's no need having them drive all the way over the hill like they used to have one person in the audience. It's just when you talk about the same things. So we do a Zoom with them, and then we come up with whatever we want to talk about. We try and get input to them from the community. They work on it, and then government day here, they should have the answers so that everybody gets informed, everybody plays a part in what happens in Lincoln. So please, and we do have 2 vacancies. We always usually have 1 or 2. So if you want to get on, let me know, and I can get you the form. Other than that, we don't really do a lot. The rest of the month, it's just that 1 meeting a month, and that's it.
Thank you, Zach, appreciate it a lot. And thank you, Commissioner. I was gonna ask a similar question. We have some other community council members in the room, maybe people, just so they can identify who you are, stand up or wave or whatever.
Still good.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, yeah.
So, thank you all for serving, first of all, and second, as Zach was saying, I'll just kind of piggyback on that, in that the reason for the community council is so that Lincoln has a voice. So we're not in Helena trying to make decisions for Lincoln without Lincoln's input. And so this community council really is trying to get the pulse of the community as things are coming up in Lincoln. Advise us. We need to know what Lincoln thinks about certain issues, and so we can make the best decision we can for those things that are under our jurisdiction up here. Because we are, in our system, we are your local government. So we want to make sure that we understand what your needs are and those kinds of things. So I would say, as Zach just said, please, if you can, participate in your local community council. It makes a difference and it helps us understand what your needs are. And often we turn to them and say, what do we do here? What do you think about this? Whatever, and we make a decision, and often it's based on what those 3, 4, 5 people think because nobody else has shown up. So it'd be really great to get more people participating in that process. So thank you again. Any questions for community council? Any questions? Any public comment? Okay, we'll move on. I think Mr. Hastings is here, right?
Yes.
Oh, you, right here in front. I haven't met you yet, sir. Welcome.
Hi, my name is Beach Hastings. I'm the mineral administrator for the Lincoln Ranger District. And this month, I'm serving as the acting ranger for Jim, who is out of town at a meeting. So left me some notes here. We burned Helmville on Tuesday, about 150 acres, I was told. That went real well. That doesn't matter anymore. CWRRP funding, which is Collaborative Wildfire Risk Reduction Program. And it's for fuel removal in priority fire sheds. And our 2 priority fire sheds are Willow, over on Dalton, and Home up the street here. We're trying to compete for money so that we can do some of that work. Looks like it's mostly WUI work. It would be a total of 6,000 to 10,000 acres over a 4-year span.
Could you tell us what WUI means?
Wildland Urban Interface.
Say again.
Wildland Urban Interface.
Thank you.
So we're at the 4th access to the houses. And there'll be approximately $5 million to compete for. We are moving forward with a forest wide EA for prescribed fire. They want to use it up here where we had the 2017 fires on Stonewall Front.
Environmental assessment.
Sorry.
Don't do well.
I'm used to initials because that's what I talk to. Sorry. And they're looking for a signature this fall. There probably won't be implementation until, I would imagine, next spring, somewhere like that. We have another project that we're just getting started on, initiation of, and it's the Ogden-Portland project. It's basically south of Highway 200. I guess you would call it north of 141, and east of 279. Not quite that far. And it won't be that entire area. It's going to be obviously different treatment plants. There'll be some mechanical thinning. There'll probably be some commercial thinning. There'll definitely be some fuels reduction work and probably some fire put on the ground. That will probably be signed next year. I don't think we'll have it done this year because we don't have our first big meeting until we want to go for it with all the specialists. Also on the fuels break CE, since the service just listed whitebark pine as a sensitive species or a threatened species, that moves our project out 135 days because we have to consult the service. So it adds roughly 4 months to a lot of our projects. And, the Silver King or Peter shed is going to be replaced. It's going to be helicopter in and helicopter out. So we'll send a crew in there to disconnect everything. They'll pull it out of there, we'll bring the new one up, install it, and then they'll have it back in. And that'll happen sometime this summer, probably June or July. It's going up a little bit. And the final thing I have is there is a bridge replacement that will be going on probably starting July 1st of this year out on Stemple Pass Road. There's a culvert that beavers like to fill full of branches and flood. So we're going to be installing a bridge similar to the one they did 2 years ago down on this Stemple Pass Road, a concrete bridge. And that helps restore hydrological habitat connectivity and alleviate fish passage issues. The biggest problem, like I said, is beavers. We love to block the thing up. Glacier Excavating was awarded the contract. Big Blackfoot Trout Unlimited chapter is overseeing the project. Lewis and Clark County are responsible for the project inspections, putting a detour in place, and there will be a detour that'll be big enough to at least support our fire trucks, so it should be big enough for anybody. And the project proponents are us, United States Fish and Wildlife Service, DVCTU, which is Trout Unlimited, and Lewis and Clark County. And it's a little over $530,000 project. So that should take care of the problem up there. We've been doing a lot of that. We did it over Corbin Creek. We've done it, like I said, a couple miles east on Temple Pass Road. We had another undersized culvert, and then this one. I think once we get that one done, we're pretty much done back there as far as replacement. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Hastings. Question? Yes, sir.
Time frame. My name's Pat Hagan from Lincoln. Time frame on when they're gonna start working on the Copper Creek Road?
They're trying to get their contract awarded, and if they get the contract awarded this year, it probably won't happen until next year, because everybody's already booked for the year.
I was
So
told they
we're
were
trying-
gonna, I was told they were gonna do it this year, but,
The CR was killing us.
you know,
Couldn't appropriate any funds. Because we're on a
are
CR.
they gonna patch those big holes?
We're gonna have to this year, and then they'll fix it next year. I know, we don't like doing it either. We're dropping $5,000 a year on that thing. So,
It'd be nice if you just roto-mill it now. You know,
they were kind of thinking about going back to a natural surface, but I think they're gonna pave it, is what I was told. And it'll be paved up to the bridge like it is now. But they're gonna take it all the way down too. They're not gonna strip asphalt, they're gonna take it all down. New road base, new asphalt, all of this stuff.
Thank you, Mr. Hastings. Other public comment for the Forest Service? Any public comment questions for the Forest Service?
If you wanna wait, you can give me your private comments after.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate you being here. Thank you. All right, we'll turn to Public Works.
Good morning, Lease Commissioners. Jenny Chambers, Public Works Director for the county. Do have some updates for you guys right now, a little bit anyway. We're kind of in the transition between seasons right now, so it's kind of the, what are you doing with the snow? What are you doing with the spring? What does the roads look like based upon the weather transition? But a few updates for you. The position up here in Lincoln for our district equipment operator is still vacant. It's been posted, it's open until filled. If anybody knows of anybody, tell them to contact Kevin and maybe talk to our human resources and get an application in. We do interview a few folks as they come in. We're just trying to get the best fit for the position. But we're doing okay as far as coverage. We do have Ron McDonough up here still providing coverage in the Lincoln area. And then we do backfill with one of our senior equipment operators from Helena over this season and was up here quite a bit during snow removal. And we'll be up here doing some grading when the weather allows. So I think we're doing pretty good for coverage, but we do need to eventually get that position filled. And if you know of anybody, please let us know, or let them know to reach out to us. We are trying to fix some bad spots as we're getting information or complaints, but it is really, really muddy still out there in several locations. They have been able to grade us some of the tops of the roads, which is not our preference, to try to get rid of some of the bad spots. But just bear with us as the weather continues to transition on that. We were able to fix the guardrail on Stemple. This was a topic at the community council where we got notified during those meetings that somebody took out part of the Blackfoot River Bridge guardrail. We're not up here on a regular basis. We do have equipment operators, but if we don't know that those things occurred or somebody took out a traffic sign or guardrail, it's good to just let us know. And Zach does really great with letting us know as well from the fire department side of things. But if you see those things, give us a call, let us know on moving those forward. But we did get the guardrail fixed. It was somebody ran into it, wasn't a call in, got no notification from sheriff's office or highway patrol or anything that there was damage done. So it could have been a properly not safe location if we didn't get notification of it to get it fixed. So keep us posted on those things as you see things as you're driving around. Another coordinated effort is with the Forest Service. We do partner with the Forest Service on parts of the county where the county roads might then transition to a Forest Service road, or maybe you have to take a county road to a Forest Service road, or vice versa, Forest Service road to a county road. We work on what's called a cooperative agreement. It's a Schedule A. It outlines kind of roles and responsibilities for jurisdiction of different areas. Which ones are we gonna maintain? Which ones are they gonna maintain? How are we gonna partner on, maybe the county will do some Forest Service roads, if Forest Service does some county roads, and then we get some cost reimbursement back based upon those level of efforts. We can track the time on equipment, manpower, resources, and then send a bill to Forest Service, and they'll reimburse us through this cooperative agreement. So it's a good partnership. Kevin's actually gonna be presenting it, Mr. Kevin Horn is gonna present it next week to Board of County Commissioners on April 11th to get that agreement finalized. The one good thing that we were able to put in there this year, which was a hot topic up here in Lincoln, was the old cemetery road. The one that goes way up in the area where people, you do want to go up there and you do want to be on those locations, but the road was really terrible. It is Forest Service's jurisdiction. The land is county property, but we were able to put in the cooperative agreement that the Forest Service will maintain that. Now, the level of frequency that occurs, or when they're actually going to get the work scheduled, but we were really positive that we were able to get it in there to say, you know, let's get some work done on over time as they get funding in order to do that work. So that's moving forward, so that'll be really helpful. I was glad that Chris brought up for the Forest Service the Stemple Pass Road Bridge. You guys are gonna have a lot of activity up here in the Lincoln Country this summer. The county road crew has been hauling material up from Helena to stockpile it at our shop location so that we can build that detour prior to when that bridge and culvert is going to be replaced. The fish window is going to be July 1, so the road crew will probably be up here in June to get that all staged, ready to go, so that when we have the fish window to do some stream work, they'll get out there right away, get that work done, so that detour will be in place. So it's a good partnership project and good coordination. It'll be really great for fisheries and beaver dams impacts and things like that for the watershed.
Question?
Sure, Commissioner?
I've never seen a fish with a window. What the heck are you talking about?
A fish window.
How many of you have seen? I've caught a lot of fish.
You know, we've all seen aquariums, right? It's not that kind of fish window. So environmentally, there's always regulations that you have to comply with for ensuring that you're not impacting the stream bed and the stream waterway. And this is critical bull trout habitat up here in Lincoln Country, which you guys I'm sure are really proud of, because it helps with tourism and fishery impacts. So you can't get in there and disturb the watershed, the water corridor, unless it's during the approved fish window.
Oh, it's
Window time. Window time.
Thank you, I just,
And so it's when
I've caught a lot of fish.
yeah, it's when they do this, when the fish need to have the ability not to be disturbed.
So they're spawning.
So they're spawning prior to that, and then it's open during that time period that we need to get there and go.
Appreciate the information.
Then I want to touch base a little bit on just some bridges. Of course, it's our fiscal year 25 budget planning process timeframe, so that we're getting prepared for the next upcoming fiscal year. All departments have to bring their budget to the Board of County Commissioners probably in May for preliminary budget proposals, and then they evaluate all that countywide, and then we approve it for the next fiscal year cycle. So as part of that effort, we have to do some prior year planning and coordination on what activities we were going to provide to move forward. And one of the big topics we always talk about is bridges. You know, county's responsible for all bridges within the county, and it's a huge impact, and depending upon weight restrictions and weight loads and prioritization of where things are headed, we were all constantly looking at our infrastructure plans and evaluating which ones we're going to move forward. We hired Great West Engineering, which is an engineering firm, to help us with a planning grant we received through Department of Commerce. They issued us a planning grant, a $30,000 planning grant, so we were able to hire Great West Engineering to help us evaluate all of our bridges. So we look at all the scoring, all the MDT, Montana Department of Transportation, evaluation of our bridge inspections, how has the county grown, you know, has it moved different directions, do we have new subdivisions in different areas, what's the traffic look like on those bridges, and try to prioritize what that looks like for future bridge projects. One of them we've been looking really close at, which I know you guys have known that we've done some geotechnical work up there and are currently working on the design, is the North Beaver Creek Bridge. We were trying to evaluate whether or not it could be eligible as one of our next project bridges for Montana Coal Endowment construction money. So we try to look to see which one raises to the level so that these very expensive bridges, which we think that's gonna be $1 million plus, as far as cost of the project to rebuild, is to try to get some grant money to do that work. Right now it's rated at about a 3 level, so it doesn't quite raise to the top. We're gonna continue with the design work so that we have a design on hand, and then as we're able to get grant funding and other money available, we will then eventually do that project. So I just wanna let you know that we're not moving forward this summer with redoing that bridge. We're still exploring funding opportunities, and we're working through the final design of that work. The project that we have selected as far as a bridge isn't necessarily in your guys' area, but it's up in the Augusta country. It's the Clemens Elk Creek Bridge. That one's rated as a 5. And so it's to the point where it's gonna potentially be failing. So we do think it's gonna have a good scoring criteria, good evaluation, so the county can receive some money through the Department of Commerce Montana Coal Endowment Program for that grant funding. So just kind of pulls everything together where it's not only roads, but it is bridges, and it's kind of looking at the prioritization as a whole. And then the last thing I just want to mention, which I haven't talked about in a long time, just because the Department of Environmental Quality has done a lot of work up at the Upper Blackfoot Mining Complex with a dam removal, that major reclamation and remediation work that they've moved forward with, and the ongoing water quality improvements they've done for those sediments and heavy metals removal activities, is their focus on maintaining that water treatment plant. There's that wastewater treatment plant to collect all the mining added discharge water to that plant prior to when it gets discharged. They've contacted the county again to see if we would help partner with them on a Department of Natural Resource and Conservation Resource Development and Renewable Grant program through DNRC to assist with getting there's a power line under Mike Horse Road that should get relocated to Meadow Creek Road so that ongoing operation of the water treatment plant will continue. So we just had a preliminary meeting with them yesterday. We're gonna help try to support them on those grant application and then get that submitted in May so that maybe they can get funding with this partnership to get that work done. Why that's good for the county and why that's good for Public Works is the Mike Horse Road is a primitive road. It will stay open and be in place, but it's not one that we maintain. It's one we want to allow to have there for public access, but it's not one that we put a lot of money in. The main corridor for that network of transportation is the Meadow Creek Road, which is maintained by the Forest Service and the Montana Environmental Trust Group. And so it'll allow us to make sure that that power line doesn't fail. We don't have erosion issues associated with the road that's gonna impact that line, that's gonna require the Public Works to do some work on that road. Plus there's a major wetlands in that area that we don't wanna disturb moving forward. So we're just trying to figure out, how to partnership on this project. Yep, Commissioner?
Who owns the power line?
The power line is a Northwest Energy line, and it's owned by the Montana Environmental Trust Group, which is the custodial trust that's part of the DEQ Forest Service cleanup efforts.
Is Northwestern Energy going to kick in anything on protecting their power line?
I don't believe so. I think they think it's fine where it's currently at, but they will certainly be the contractor that DEQ will hire in order to get that line moved. Yep. So that's what I have for you guys today. Are there any questions?
Question.
If you can give us your name, sir.
My name's Eugene Spindler, I live up Stump Pass Road.
Thank you.
I've been there 18 years now, about 7 months. Every time you put in a concrete bridge, the road on both inlet and outlet of the bridge just goes crap, anytime there's water. And I would like to make some comments to whoever designed the bridge, how you might address that problem. I do know they want to change out the bridges for culverts for bridges, or no, the other way around. Bridges for culverts, but the culvert never had a problem under there, except the problem you addressed, which was earlier, that the beavers sometimes get in the way. I know that's a problem, but I tell you what, the road gets really rough. It's really rough right now. It gets rough in 2 places. One is on both sides of the concrete bridges, and the other place is whenever there's
water that's able to drain down the hill on the side road. And that's where it gets really rough. You almost gotta stop sometimes. I've seen, that one time with an ambulance out there and I was hauling it, and it virtually just almost stopped to try to get up how bad the road is and it's quick. But if nothing else, I'd like to have comment as to how that might be addressed. I'm an engineer, but that doesn't mean this is my expertise, but I'm an
Sure.
engineer. And, I would like to say, I think we can do better than just blindly put in a concrete bridge and not address the problem that it causes. Because the two bridges that were put in that, while I was there, both have serious problems on both sides of the bridge as far as how rough the road gets. It's about 25 to 50 feet or something like that, it's bad. So I really think, I'm not trying to, I know it slows down speeders. But the only thing I really would like to do is, I'd like to see where I think we can address that problem with a little bit of common sense approach. And I would love to give input to that from whoever does.
Sure, no, I appreciate that. I'll let Kevin add something from the road perspective. Sometimes we look at having it paved an approach to have the egress on there. But I was gonna suggest, after the meeting, let me get your name and number down, and I'll also have Dan Carlin, our county engineer, give you a call on that as
The
well.
problem is excess water. That's why the side roads that go down the hill, there's just water coming from another direction. Same with the concrete bridge, the water runs off both
Sure.
sides of the bridge, both ends, and that's what's going on. And it just get a lot more water.
Sure. Did you,
Okay.
Kevin, did you wanna say anything
Yeah,
about that?
I definitely can help, I can help. Thanks, Director Chambers, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Kevin Horn, everyone that might not know me, Operations Manager for Lewis and Clark County. Appreciate that question, that's a great question. We just had that conversation with our consultants, Great West Engineering, on some of these designs. Preferably, from our perspective, I would rather have just the Pandex on them with gravel so I can grade through them. Some of the current designs are the concrete beams, so the concrete beams go all the way across it. That's why they're getting capped. On our modular steel bridges, we're able to, it's a little bit different scenario. Both of the ones on Stemple Bridge are concrete beams, therefore they do require concrete decks on them. You're 100% right, it's the water, it's the weak point. You see it even on asphalt, right? I mean, any bridge you come up to that's got a concrete deck always has a bump before because all that pressure, that's where all the water runs to, that's where all the settling problems are. We've had some design fixes for some of that, which they're a little costly, especially on asphalt roads. What we end up doing is digging the front of the abutments out and filling them with a flowable fill concrete. A flowable fill concrete is not like a 6-sack concrete that's like your driveway is. It's more of a road mix that's got cement in it. And what it does is it makes in front of those bridges a lot more durable. It's something we talked with our county engineer and our design consultants going forward on some of these, because not only does it affect folks like you, it's really hard on us because, I mean, the road, yeah, Stemple's really rough, but you think about Dalton, I mean, we couldn't keep up with that. Any of the other bridges during the freeze-thaw cycles, what I've seen by going to this new design, digging them up and actually doing the flowable fill with a little bit of concrete in them, is making them a lot more stable. So I don't know if that helps. I know you're an engineer and you know a lot about this, but that help a little bit?
Well, yeah, although we don't have asphalt up there.
Right.
I'm gonna use an example, but because we don't have asphalt, we have not just a break at the bridge, but we have a big area on both sides.
Yeah.
And it could be a problem. It goes rough enough that if you hit it with just 35 miles an hour, which is the speed limit on most of that, it could bounce you off the road. I've had that happen to me before, so I always have to slow down. And that poses that safety hazard on top of it.
Well, one thing that might happen on the dirt though is even if we did, flowable build out, what's gonna happen is you're just gonna keep chasing that, right? So it's just gonna,
Well, you either gotta mitigate the water, which is one way to do it, or you gotta have to have a solution which, I keep going back to culverts. I hate to say this because when the culverts were there, the dirt went all the way across over the culvert. You never had that problem. Only because we decided to have a surface which is going to be concrete that allows the water to run off that becomes a problem. If you either address the water by somehow
getting at the waterway, it's kind of hard to do in here, so it could be done. Or you address something related to the water, and if you do that, you might be able to do it with something very simple, very inexpensive. That's part of my comments I'm gonna make this evening.
Totally agree, that's why I love modular bridges, we can grade right over them. So, yeah, appreciate the comments, but, we have been, actually talking in the last month about that pretty heavily with our consultants.
I just hate to see another concrete bridge up there, because I'll be upstream of the concrete bridge.
Unfortunately, that one is gonna get one, cause that, like, Forest Service said, that's kind of went through the Blackfoot chapter of the Forest Service.
But a slight modification might make that quite acceptable, and that's what I wanna talk about.
Sure, sounds good, sounds good.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate the comment.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, if I may,
Yes.
I don't have much today. Jenny covered everything pretty well. She does a great job on our behalf for operations and telling our story. We appreciate her in these meetings. I only come up about once a quarter, kind of seasonal wise. You guys heard a lot about, when I look around the room, you heard a lot about partnerships with our Forest Service friends, our Tri-County friends. You hear a lot of our MDT friends, DNRC. And Chris is here too, Chris Castagne. I just want to recognize him. You'll hear a little bit on our action item. He's here today. Without his partnership with the county, we wouldn't have a place for our stuff on the backside there. So thank you for being here. We really appreciate you and your family and working with us on that side. And, Jimmy's going to talk a lot about the bridge today. And we do a lot of work together with MDT. You're not going to find a finer team than he's got here today. Without our partnerships, with the Forest Service, the MDT, Trico Fire, local fire, that's how we get things done, folks. I mean, honestly, that is the truth. The county can't do it on their own, MDT can't do it on their own, but when we all come together, and you're gonna hear a lot about it today, and that's why I wanted to mention that. It's been a long project, a lot of people working on it, working together to make it happen, so. That's how we operate, that's how I like to operate, and I just wanted everybody to know in a public setting how much I appreciate our partners across the board that we work with. So thank you guys. I'll shut up. I know you guys are all here for Dalton. Does anybody have any questions before? Okay.
Oh.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Kevin, appreciate it. All right, and the next item on our agenda is public health report, but public health was unable to be here today, so we're going to move on unless there's public comment or questions related to public health. Okay, we'll move on. We have, under other business, we have the Montana Department of Transportation Lincoln Area Projects update. And I'm going to actually pass it on to Jenny to do some introductions here first, and we'll move on, and welcome to all of our guests. Thank you for being here.
Thanks, Commissioners. Again, Jenny Chambers, Stark County Public Works Director. Yeah, periodically, depending upon the type of projects we have going up in the area, you guys raise a lot of questions regarding just public works in general. What's going on with this road, what's going on that road, and as you know, our jurisdictions cross the lines, whether it's a Forest Service, Montana Department of Transportation, or a county road. What we do well and do good job at moving things forward, like Kevin mentioned, is we do a lot of partnership and coordination. I have monthly coordination meetings with MDT, we have regular coordination meetings with the Forest Service, and so regardless if you let us know or the Upper Blackfoot Community Council know, we always touch base and follow up on those things. So I am very pleased to introduce Jimmy Combs with the Montana Department of Transportation. He's the Great Falls office. To come up and talk to you guys about a lot of the MDT projects going on in the area, and there's a ton of stuff going on this summer. And I'll let Jim, if you can mention, introduce the rest of your staff that are here, or supporting team for the projects you have moving forward, that would be great. So thanks again, appreciate it.
Chairman Hunthausen, Commissioners, everybody, thank you for having us here today. My name is Jimmy Combs. I'm with the Montana Department of Transportation out of Great Falls. I'm just a pre-construction engineer, and I'm going to pass the buck today. I'm going to introduce our construction folks and our consultant for construction services on the Dalton Mountain Bridge Road. And at this point in time, they're far more the experts about what's going on there than I am. So I'll start by introducing Rich Hibble. Rich is our district construction engineer.
Hey, everybody.
And we have Jaden Manuel in the back there. He's our district construction operations engineer. And we have Doug Wilmot with TD&H. They are our consultant that will be doing the construction inspection contract administration for the Dalton Mountain Bridge Road. And do we have our PR, I'm sorry.
Melissa Shannon.
Melissa?
Yeah.
Thank you, sorry. And we have Melissa, we have a public involvement consultant with us today. And so do you want to go, Melissa?
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to pass the baton to Melissa, if that's quite all right.
Thank you very much. Welcome. Just give us your stats for the record, if you would, please.
Yes,
Thank
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. Good morning, my name is Melissa Shannon. Like Jimmy said, I do public involvement for the Montana Department of Transportation, and one of our projects this summer is Dalton Mountain Road. So I've got some handouts for you all. Start over here. And then I also have some sign-in sheets, I'll send those around.
Couple $100,000.
So, I think everybody here, this is a small town. I'm from Fairfield, by the way, so, and I went to school at the University of Montana, so I used to drive through this community every time I was traveling back and forth to school, and it was fun to spend some time here. This morning I actually drove the detour, so I have a sense of what's coming your way. So we are working with the county to replace the Dalton Mountain Road. This is part of MDT's off-system bridge program, which is a relatively new program, and the legislature gave some money to help MDT work with counties to replace some of our aging bridge infrastructure across the state. And so the county nominated Dalton Mountain Road, it was accepted, and we are going to get to work this summer on rebuilding that bridge. The bridge is going to be a single span pony truss bridge. There's a picture of what a pony truss bridge looks like right there. We're going to be starting construction in July, and when that construction starts, the bridge will be shut down. And so you'll see the detour route on the back. I drove the detour route this morning, the signs are already up, so if folks have...
Those signs are ones from before.
Oh, okay, great. So probably be more signs that will go up when we get a little bit closer. But they point you in the right way. It's a gravel road. There's quite a few potholes. You want to take your time. You need to commute for work. I got a message from a resident who commutes to Helena every day, who lives just south of the bridge. It's going to take you about 20 extra minutes to get around, to get to town and then on your way. A couple of things that we're going to be doing to get the word out. I'm going to be blanketing the community with posters today. We will be back in town before construction starts, and we're going to actually go door to door to the homes that live just south of the bridge. Those will be the folks, I think, the most impacted. We're also going to send a direct mail postcard to every resident in Lincoln so that you guys know what's coming your way. And then, probably most importantly, we will have weekly text and email updates that will go out to folks to let you guys know what's happening on the ground. So I have some sign-up sheets here. If you want email updates, please fill this out. Please be mindful of penmanship. And if you have bad penmanship like me, I will be camped out here afterwards with my laptop, and we can just type your email address in. Just know if I can't read your handwriting, I can't get the right email address in there. So, and then if you aren't an email person and you would prefer to receive text updates, there's a phone number you can text, and you text Dalton Bridge to that number, and that will automatically sign you up for text updates. I'll be sending those updates weekly to let you guys know what's going on the ground, provide information about the detour and all the rest of that. So let me pass these sign-in sheets around. And I think, that's pretty much it in terms of the information to provide. I think we really just wanted to leave a lot of time for questions. I did see a comment on the Lincoln Live Facebook group that I wanted to address around internet service. So MDT and Slutton's our contractor, the lead contractor doing the construction. They've reached out to Lincoln Telephone, and they have a plan to make sure that folks aren't going to lose their internet access. They will be, I think, doing some work in May to do a temporary fix, and then once the bridge is finalized, they will put the fiber on the bridge again. And they let us know that the bulk of that mitigation work will be done in the middle of the night, so it's not to disrupt your internet service, and if you work from home or like me, like to Netflix and chill with your family. So, any questions? I've got the experts here to answer any detailed questions you might have. And then also, if you have suggestions for me of ways we can do better to get the word out to the public, please let me know. My phone number's on here, my email's on here, contact me anytime, and I am your resource. If you're seeing something that doesn't sit well with you on the construction site, if the detour needs some work to address dust control or some of the bumps, please reach out to me. It's my job to work with you and work with the public. I translate all that information back to the folks on the ground and to the MDT headquarters. So I am your main point of contact, and call me, email me anytime. Questions?
Julie Czar, I'm a resident on Dalton. Are you gonna do anything about that really bad corner on Heron Lake? Are we gonna have like the stoplights so we're not hitting any traffic? I mean, cause you can't see around that corner and it's one lane at the far end of Heron from Stemple over. Is there anything being done to address that?
There may be some additional delineators or something like that put in, but there's no provision in the contract for any stoplights or anything like that.
Okay, and so there's no way of taking out at least a little bit of that corner to make it more visible, or putting up some sort of mirror or something?
Well, we're gonna have, so thank you for the question. So we'll go through everybody, have you come up and have a turn maybe, and you guys can answer some of these questions and from a more technical perspective. But you're getting them down, right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, good. And so we're not just going from all different directions here, we're trying to keep this a little bit organized. Any other about communication with Shannon? Everybody understands how that's gonna work? If you have questions, contact her. Yes?
BJ's Forest Service, they were hauling off the Common Adult Mound last year for timber. I don't know how that's gonna be affected this year, because Pyramid is closing their mills. But there could be a bit of a problem with timber trucks, especially that corner. Or maybe they changed it, they're going over.
They're going back.
Yeah, we're hoping that they go.
Yeah, because they're on the front side of Dalton cutting right now. Or were cutting, I don't know if they stopped yet.
Go ahead.
Commissioner, we've had conversations with Jim with the Forest Service, and we've been cautioning for the last 3 years from Public Works to have any forest or timber operations go a different direction.
Right.
I mean, the detour is going to be impactful enough for the community, and we don't need to have timber logging trucks going on that road. So I think we just need to double check that, make sure that with Pyramid closing that's not going to occur, but we've been telling the community that shouldn't be any impacts to them.
Good question. Anything else directly for Shannon? Yeah, please.
Well, it's more of an informational, Zach Muse, Fire Chief, this time. I've asked, a lot of people aren't on Facebook, but I've asked to cease the burning on the south side of Dalton, that area, because if something was to start, we have to go all the way around, and it can go from a quarter-acre fire to all summer fire if we can't get there fast enough. So it might be ugly in your yard or whatever for the summer, but it's better than losing everybody's houses and the whole hillside. So please, no burning on that south side of Dalton Bridge for the summer until we get moisture this fall.
Do you include the fire pits?
No, campfires are fine. That's totally different deal. It's the debris burner, sorry.
Talking debris burn. Okay, good. Anything directly for Shannon?
I got a question. I don't know everything, but I believe the fiber is under the river, bored under the river. It's not attached to the bridge in any way.
Okay.
I could be wrong, I don't know that much, but
There's actually 2 lines, so one is under the river, one's on.
mounted to the bridge.
Yeah. And their plan is to combine them, I believe, for the post-construction.
Yeah. So they didn't do that initially when the fiber was put in?
Yeah.
I don't know when they were putting it.
Maybe the old phone line that's pretty much obsolete now is on the bridge. I believe the fiber optics is under the river.
And that could be there, I know Lincoln Telephone is showing that as a fiber optics line on the bridge also.
Sir, please state your name for the record.
Jerry Mann.
Thank you. Ron?
Just to alliterate, when that line from the bridge, from what I remember when they put it, it comes from the bridge and crosses to the west, literally 2 feet on the south side of the bridge.
Where the new bridge is gonna be.
And that's where the new abutments are gonna be. Cause is that where you see that line?
You know, we might have our MDT experts come up and surround the podium. And whoever's the most appropriate to answer any particular question, you can just.
Either way, they said it's not gonna be interrupted.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
Right, whatever needs to be done temporarily for construction will be done. Make it matter to get it, keep it operational, and then it'll all be fixed after.
And then can we just get you to reintroduce
sure.
yourself?
Rich Hibble, I'm the Great Falls District Construction Engineer for MDT.
So, and Commissioner Hunthausen, I'm Doug Wilmot. Work for TD&H, and we're doing the construction inspection for the project. And just as a note, I'm a part-time resident of Lincoln area and also formerly worked for MDT, so work with a lot of these guys. But with that, take any questions.
How far out are you, I see you guys were, Pat Hagan, resident. You guys are going quite a ways on both ends of the bridges with the extension of, I don't know where else, that's where all the riprap's going. But and I heard you're straightening the bridge up. How far back are you doing construction on the roads? Is that not gonna be paved or is it anything like that? Is it?
No, it's not gonna be paved. There'll be a little concrete pavement right on the end of the bridge.
Aprons.
Somewhat addressing
Our problems.
the problem with the water running off the bridge. But as far as the limits of the project reconstructed, it's kind of what you see if you've been out there. They've pretty much got the tree clearing done. So I guess I'll just back up and give you an update. The work they were doing this week is kind of twofold, but it's related to the migratory bird and bird nesting. So they did protection on the bridge to dissuade migratory birds, mainly swallows. There's actually a couple other nests out there from nesting. So that we're not, when we come back in July to remove that structure, that there isn't any birds nesting. So the contractor will be out there checking that periodically, making sure the nests don't get built. And then the tree clearing for the same reasons. So the riprap that you're seeing out there, they basically are just delivering that to get it to the project. So that riprap will, after the bridge removal and during the time of the new bridge construction, that riprap and bank work will all be done. So right now, they're just stockpiling that enough on each side for what'll need to be done for the project.
During high flood seasons, there's that road on the north side that kind of goes down into that property there. And there's that flood that we call it, where all the willows and stuff are. That channel there always gets higher. Is that gonna be any addressing there to, deter that flood channel?
And Ron, your name for the record.
Ron Czar.
Thank you. Trying to help us.
Does that make sense?
It's on the north side, northwest side of the bridge. It's where that, well, it used to be Denbauer's property, where the river floods and then it comes down and it comes right in front of the bridge, right there. It's a really low spot. I'm assuming that's what he's asking, is that it's gonna be built up as part of this?
Northeast side.
Yeah,
Sorry, northeast side, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know that it's gonna be built up for that reason, but, the new bridge is a little bit longer, so it extends out a little bit from the existing limits that are there right now. And the grade's just a little bit higher than existing, so really just doing a little bit of work to transition the roadway approaches on each side.
I don't recall any deliberate discussions of that issue during design. So I don't wanna swear that as gospel, but I don't think that was
You guys looked at it.
Yeah, it was
I know
looked
you
at,
guys
it's
looked
got-
at
Oh, we
it,
did?
So
Okay,
it
then we
probably
did.
wasn't
Yeah.
an issue, so it's moot, you know, but I know you guys looked at it.
Yes, sir.
Gary Smith, I live out there. How long do you anticipate it'll be closed?
Likely, well, the closure will be July 8th, that's the soonest that they can close it. And likely through September. So July, August, September, could go into October.
Other questions? Yes, sir. Francis?
Francis Beeler. Back to the lady's comment about the sharp curve. You guys gotta realize one thing, you're dealing with private property. And we tried through years to get okay to widen them corners out, it ain't gonna happen.
So did Eric Griffin, so did Kevin, they've all tried, keep trying, but they won't let them.
It won't happen.
That's the unfortunate.
And now when they put the sewer in, they screwed up, I told them what was gonna happen on the other side of the bridge here, and they never believed me. We ended up for 2 months, anybody come across, had to go around here and Lake and over there. But they never had no trouble with any of the traffic or anything like this here. We tried a couple times to widen out them corners. It ain't gonna happen, like Jack said, it ain't gonna happen.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments for MDT related to Dalton Mountain Bridge project? Yes, sir.
I believe the initial plan was for 100 feet of pavement off of both ends of the bridge.
Can you state your name again, please?
Jerry man,
Jerry man. Thanks for the question.
I don't remember how far we went.
Yeah, no,
I remember we
it's-
had that discussion of having some kind of approach slabs or some kind of.
It's
base
just the
surface.
concrete approach slab just right off the end of the bridge.
And I hope it's not that long.
No, 10 or 15 feet, I
Yeah,
can't
so,
remember what they
yeah,
are.
yeah, they're not running.
And then- what's the difference, we're talking about putting all this money into the Copper Creek Road, repaving it evidently. What's the population difference between up there and Dalton?
I have no idea.
If I mentioned paving, maybe, you know, mile or a half mile each side of the bridge, when you do it, and they're like, oh my God, you know what that costs? Well, we're putting $5 million into the bridge.
Two different ownerships.
Yeah, we can explain that.
Of course, it's got more money.
Commissioners, again, Jenny Chambers, County Public Works. Yeah, I mean, you guys look at all the projects and all that are going on with different jurisdictions. And all the bit different pots of the money that all these funding sources are coming through. It's very, very complicated and it's pretty challenging. And if we have a hard time understanding, I definitely know you guys are wondering where things are going as well. Copper Creek is strictly Forest Service. How the Forest Service gets their funding to do their type of projects and prioritization is different. Dalton Mountain Road is a county road. And I can tell you on the county road prioritization list, countywide, the population for Dalton Mountain Road is quite a bit, but not as much as maybe some of our other county roads within the county. So, and then the cost of paving, to pave a road, like a Country Club Road we're talking about in Helena, between the Fort Harrison and intersection there, it's about $1.2 million per mile to reconstruct and pave a road, is the cost of those projects. So that's what we're tackled with at the county, is to try to get roads that have higher traffic being maintained at a very large dollar amount. Luckily for the Dalton Mountain Bridge, which the bridge pot of money is a whole different category again as well. Bridge money comes from a different pot of money than the roads do. We were able to get some grant funding through some support of that project as match money to the county, and then we're able to get it through the MDT, Montana Department of Transportation, off-system road projects, where they rarely get grant money to do that work and projects. So a lot of this is just finding pieces and parts of grant money, piecing the stuff together and trying to prioritize it. So Forest Service on one, and why they're prioritizing that, because it's a paved road, they're probably gonna continue to pave the road. If it was a different gravel surface, it probably wouldn't go up to the standard of being paved based upon the cost.
But once that bridge is in, and it's a 2-lane bridge, and they straighten it out.
Correct.
I mean, it's not gonna be,
Correct. And
The only thing
sure,
that's
that's a
gonna
great
slow
point.
everybody down is potholes.
To your point, as the county continues to grow, as we continue to make improvements on infrastructure, traffic and transportation corridors develop as well. So it may change the level of priority for that road. In the future, we have to look at other means to control the speed, speed evaluations, more signage, more traffic moving forward. So yeah, I get what you're saying.
And then they will no longer be putting the chloride on the road to keep the dust down once this bridge is done,
Correct.
unless the residents pay for it.
Well, we'll have to prioritize that as well, yes. And so we've been, the county Public Works Department has been putting in our money to do mag chloride for the road during the project and during the detour. After the project's complete, we may not have that money in the budget the previous fiscal years. And then there are options like you've mentioned, a rural improvement district for those that benefit the most on those properties by driving in on a regular basis could pitch in. We do have some mag chloride rural improvement districts across the county. Marysville is working on mag chloride RID for the Marysville area. Remini residents pay for mag chloride on their road through a rural improvement district. So yeah, there are options we can work with the community on, but we may not have our money in the budget to mag chloride all the gravel roads within the county. But yeah.
Other questions or comments for our friends from MVP? All right, before we let you go, maybe if you know of any other projects happening this summer in the area that you want to just highlight?
Sure. For, as far as on Highway 200 out here, all of the roadway that we did the center line patching in, the strip we did on center line from basically Fletcher Pass Road on west past town. Looks like that chip seal is supposed to start right around July 8th, right after the 4th of July weekend. The Fletcher Pass Highway, we're gonna do a mill fill on that one for about 8 miles, and then we're
So someone who might not know what that means, just explain that.
Okay, on that one, yeah, mill fill is when we take off a couple tenths of the existing plant mix on top of the roadway, and then we're gonna repave that, and then we will chip seal that as well. We're doing about 8 miles of that mill fill, and then another 8 miles of chip seal in addition to that on up over the top. Those are the two major ones right here around town. I don't know if we have any other future ones coming up, but it looks like we might have a couple questions.
Francis Beeler again.
Yep.
I maintained that road, Fletcher Pass, for 35 years. When I started up on the oil was this far, the dirt was this far from the edge of the road. People went off it. I cleaned the ditches, I did 2 years up here by myself. I cleaned the ditches, widened it out like it is now. And when I started to do that once more, they said, no, you can't touch that road anymore. It's state. I worked with the county for 35 years. Every time I tried to do something up there, they shut me down. And the next question is, are you guys gonna build the shoulders up on that road?
If the width won't change, we're putting back the same as we're taking off.
Okay.
So it won't get narrower, but it's not gonna get wider.
That's okay, that answered my question.
Thank you, Francis.
From the Helena side or from the Highway 200 side?
We're starting on the Highway 200 side and going roughly 16 miles up and over the top.
All right, so lots happening this construction season, Lincoln. 200, Fletcher, 2 bridges out here, so a lot of service on one hand and a lot of disruption, so be patient, and I for one am grateful for the work we're going to have, better infrastructure after we're done, but it will be an inconvenience at times, so thank you all for being here. Yes, Jim, please, yep. If you'd come up here, we're just practicing our routine.
So, thank you, everybody. Just FYI, so another project we have in the works, we're very early in design. I don't know when it will come to construction, but as you're going west out of town here, you get past the jerky plant, I can't remember the name of the road, but anyway, where the highway makes that first hard left, we've got a erosion issue there along the river that we're in the process of designing that right now and trying to shore up that bank. We're kind of keeping an eye on that bank too.
Just past Low Point?
Yeah.
Everybody sure.
Right there.
Yeah. So that'll be coming down the pike. Again, don't know, we have no plan for when it'll get constructed this time, but it's in the works.
Great
design.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, last chance for questions or comments for our friends from MDT. And I think I speak for the commission, but I'm just grateful for the partnership and the work we're going to get done in the area and all over the county. We have lots of partnerships all over the county. Thanks. Thanks for being here today and taking the time out to come and be with us.
Likewise, and we want to express, we've got a great partnership with the business partner, and we're very grateful for that. It's been very wonderful, so thank you all. Thank you for having us here today.
Yeah, all right. Appreciate it. All right, well, we'll move on to our next item on the agenda, which is the Tri-County Fire Safe Working Group. Now, Lois is here, Rocky's here. Lois, I'll turn it over to you if you can introduce yourself and all that. You can tell
The
people.
important thing, when I was walking in, there was a key laying on the ground between these two vehicles that are right outside the door. So.
Wow.
Maybe the most important thing to somebody that I have to say.
Well,
my name's Lois Olson. I'm the president of the board of a nonprofit that represents the 3 counties, Jefferson, Broadwater, and Lewis and Clark. We're called Tri-County Fire Safe Working Group. This is Rocky Enfanger. He's one of our fuel specialists. We work on fuel mitigation on private land. We get grants from the federal government for the most part, and we help people with the 75% paid for, 25% paid for by the resident grants to work on your property for fuel mitigation. We also do public education. We have a web page, we have Facebook. I have a little kind of a newspaper article. I'll just pass it around. Anybody that is interested can keep it. I only brought 20. I wasn't expecting the crowd we have, but it's great to see you. It has a little bit of information of why, what's going on. Well, everybody's been talking fire today, so I don't think I need to talk too much more about that. Anybody that lives in Lincoln knows about fire. Our forests have changed a lot. People live out in the woods, they live in the Louis, and this is an opportunity for you to take advantage of some funding. The big thing we do is Rocky would come out to someone, we have 2 folks, Craig Copeler is the other one, or Rocky would come out to your home and do an assessment. You sign up for it on our webpage. That's a free service. The grants pay for that, and that doesn't cost you anything. They'll go through your property, tell you what maybe you need to do with your home, what you might do with your trees. And then if you choose to go on, you do a plan with them. They'll give you a prescription for your property, you sign a financial agreement with us, and then you do the work with the company. You hire a contractor, we give you a list. You hire a contractor, and they do the work on your home, and then we reimburse you with this grant money. So it's a really nice program. I'm really happy to be part of it. Rocky and I will both stay here afterwards. If anybody wants to talk to us more, wants to take a look at the website, we work with Zach. Any questions that you've got, Zach can answer too. And yeah, I just hope people would take advantage of this program. And if anybody wants a detailed presentation, we can give that to a group. You can give it to anybody, a garden club, community group, whatever it is. So if anybody has any questions right now, I can transfer them. Otherwise, we'll be here afterwards.
Lois, just a question about, there's people using this program. It's been around for quite a while now. Can you just talk about some of the projects that you've been doing the last couple of years? There's been quite a few acres treated, and
there have been in the last, especially in the last year. COVID just about did us in, so I would say we were pretty quiet from 2019 to 2021. We have one project that's about to start up at Karen Lakes up here. It's our first Lincoln project, which I'm really pleased about. We have 37 financial plans signed right now. Rocky can help me with numbers if I start to stumble too badly, but in the last year, I believe it was about 60 projects that we finished, which is a high for us. And then those acreages, I think it was around 460 acres. Sorry, I didn't bring those.
yeah, and it might seem like small acres, but these are people's properties, like
These
your
are
home,
people's homes.
around your house and all that.
And so if you live next to the Forest Service, you live next to BLM, it's a great way for you to also help protect your own property, especially if they're working on their site. We do have agreements with the Forest Service and the BLM where if they have an environmental assessment or some kind of environmental analysis done, you can go across that property next to your property onto them if they haven't done their clearing. So it makes it a little more comprehensive that hopefully your home would get through a wildfire. The other thing that's coming up is insurance is getting canceled. I don't know if people are running into that up here, but it's, certainly we've all read probably about California and what's happening there, that the insurance companies are just pulling out completely. And so it's something to really think about. And I overhear conversations. I heard one in Costco where a person was saying, well, my insurance just got canceled. And the guy came out and he didn't like this being here close to the house. And so I think these assessments really help you become aware of your own property. And like I say, they're free. And if you choose to go on, then we have folks that can talk to you about the financing or finances. We don't have financing. You have to foot that cost, but then you get reimbursed.
Thank you very much. Questions for?
Can I one more thing?
Yeah.
On those property assessments.
Identify yourself.
Zach Lease, Fire Chief, sorry. That, on those property assessments, it can be as simple as, you know, us telling you mow your grass and trim your branches to, you know, clearing timber, whatever. So if you're afraid of the cost, you know, one of these property assessments, most of it, as far as just right around your house, is just elbow grease. I mean, it can be as simple as that, just going out and doing that work. If you have a lot more timber and whatnot, then we look toward these grants. But just remember, these property assessments will tell you what needs to be done, and a lot of it can be done just with you on a weekend or 2 weekends with a saw or a rake or lawnmower. So don't be afraid to ask for those, because they do help a lot.
And that offsets the 25%.
No, that,
Oh, it does not.
I'm just talking about the property assessments, so two sides to it.
Clarify that.
Yeah, two sides to it, but your property assessments, or your, the matching money can be in kind, correct?
You wanna get into that one, Rocky? It can be a bit.
So Rocky, in fact, I'm one of the fuel mitigation specialists. I'll just tell you right up front, I don't do the financial side of things. I'll come out and tell you what you need to do. I'll write you a plan. I'll help you through that whole process, but I'm not the financial person. I believe there is that possibility of using some in-kind, and there's some stuff that is based on, some set values of what your hourly time would be worth. And I don't really get into that part. The one thing I wanted to mention is with the assessment, we do talk about your structure, and we talk about your defensible space around the house. We can talk about your whole property. If you have 20 acres, our focus is going to be the road in, the driveway, and that area around the house. That's gonna be, we'll phase a project, that's gonna be phase 1. We want to protect your house, and we want you to safely get out and the firefighters to safely get in. So that's what we're gonna focus on. Maybe we call it kind of keyholing. It may look like this, coming in on the driveway, reduce fuels along that road. We're gonna tell you that, you got a shingle roof, you need to replace your roof and stuff. Those are recommendations by us. We do not, in this particular grant, we don't replace decks, we don't replace windows, we don't replace roofs. We'll recommend that those should possibly be done. If you have a wooden deck, when it comes time to replace it, you might wanna look at composite type materials and stuff like that. We'll give you a lot of recommendations that you can do yourself that are pretty minor. Getting stuff away from right around your house to keep it from igniting. Embers are what burns homes down. Generally, you don't have a flaming front that burns the house down. Especially up in these rural areas where they're kind of more further apart. So, you know, we're willing to work with you, we're willing to help you, and we're willing to help you through that whole process. I guess if there's questions I may answer, we work with the local fire departments, we work with the county on roadside. Roadside is a big thing for us. They're evacuation routes. We'll work with whoever we can, whether it's MDT or the county or private individuals, to try to reduce fuels. So when firefighters, regardless of who that may be, need to get in, they can safely do that. So we're here to help you, and you know, depending on the type of project, we can help reimburse some of that cost. Again, that cost is you up front. And I always use this number because it's simple for me, because I know the numbers yet. So if it's a $10,000 project, you pay the contractor $10,000. Show us you paid him we inspect that before, and we'll reimburse you $7,500 for that. So there's, and those, that can be a pretty quick turnaround on that. So, you know, it's not like you're gonna wait 6 months. It's generally a very quick turnaround, you know, less than 60-day turnaround, maybe even less than that, so. But we're here to help.
Thank you.
I have one more plug, and we have a Firewise demonstration garden down in Helena, actually at the Montana City Fire Department. And associated with that, that's kind of my baby, my passion is gardening and stuff. And we have a whole database on our internet site, on our website, that you can look up, and you can see the kinds of plants that you might plant, because it makes all the difference in the world. If you've got junipers next to your house, it's not good. They need to be out away from your house. But there are the bushes you can plant and a lot of different plants you can use. And they're all in there, they're rated for our area. I think they would do well up here for the most part, except for their sun plants. And then we've got resistance about deer, resistance, not deer proof. You have a question, sir?
Bob Wojciechowski. On the grant, particularly not necessarily the mitigation assessment, is there a acreage limitation on that? Is there a minimum, maximum?
We try to stay under 20 acres.
So if somebody had a 1 acre, 1.5, 2 acres, whatever, you'd still be eligible for grant work on that?
Oh, yes, we'll go down.
And
We'll
does
go
it have to be
down.
interfaced with federal land, or it doesn't? So DNRC, does it have to be any interface at all?
No,
It
no,
doesn't?
right in the middle of town.
We work on private land.
We work on private
Okay.
land, yes. And what we try to do is what we have to do, because we are getting a lot of applications, is we want to work in neighborhoods. So if you're interested, we really want to talk to your neighbors and try to get 4 or 5 houses. That's the way you're actually going to be safe. But yes, it's all, that's all private, but it doesn't have to be.
And is there a time limit on, say for instance, somebody had $20,000 worth of tree work done last fall, is there a time limit on when you could go for, like, when you would apply for reimbursement on that, or not?
So if they had it done, excuse me, Rocky, if they had it done prior to us becoming involved, we're not gonna reimburse for something prior to us.
Okay.
Once you do an application with us, then you're in your system, we can move forward with you, but we really can't go backwards.
Sure.
But, you know, whoever does that, thanks for doing it, but I mean, that starts.
Any other questions?
Right, well, we'll hang around, so if anybody has it, please.
Really appreciate being here. Thank you very much, both of you, for that. All right, we do have one action item on our agenda, and I'll turn it over to Jenny, the lease agreement.
Commissioners, again, Jenny Chambers, County Public Works Director. So today before you is an action item between Chris and Kim Castagne and Lewis and Clark County. This is a lease agreement to partner with them for the county to lease a portion of the land adjacent to our Lincoln Road Department county shop. So right now, the county shop property is pretty limited. I've got kind of an exhibit here. It's just a really small excerpt within the particular map area. We would like to continue to lease a portion of the property adjacent to that in order to, for the sole purpose of storing material and equipment. The agreement outlines requirements and conditions that must be followed and use of the property, and includes an annual lease payment of $1,000 each year as a land use fee. Plus there's other site-specific conditions that we would need to follow as part of the agreement. For instance, building a fence, keeping the property neat and orderly, ensuring that we provide good partnership and coordination and communication with the landowner, spraying noxious weeds, things like that. Just being a good steward and housekeeping efforts associated with the management of the property area. The agreement is effective upon the date of the last party's signature and automatically renews until December 31st, 2034. The agreement may be terminated or canceled at either time by either party with a 60 written days notice. And staff recommends approval of the lease agreement with Chris and Kim Castagne. And also wanted to highlight that we really appreciate working with them, and it's been we've been on site, we kind of walked through this. And we do think that this is a good partnership, and it allows us to get some room on the area for storage. So with that, recommend approval, for this lease agreement to lease the land adjacent to our Lincoln Road Department County shop. Sharon.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, questions for Director Chambers?
What is, excuse me, please, no, I did, it's procedure stuff. Mr. Chairman, I have a question for the editor.
Commissioner Payne, you have the floor.
What is the property current, I mean, the landowner, what does the landowner currently use that property for? Is it?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Payne, if you don't mind, I'd like to see if Chris would be available to say what you currently use that land for and.
Well, currently, could you come on up?
Sure.
For it, please? Thank you
Plus it
very
gives
much.
them an opportunity to
And
see
then
who you are.
You can introduce yourself for the record. Thank you.
Chris Castagne, everybody, thank you. So it's property that my aunt and I have owned. Just a little history, and I think it's good for people to know history, and I'm getting to that age where I'm that person now. My aunt that raised me, if anybody knew Carol, she'd have loved to be here today. She'd have saved the taxpayers a lot of money, because she'd have shot the beavers and the birds, and she'd have thrown the bull trout up on the banks. When they were little, they treated them like sucker fish. They ate all the other fish. And this is from her. And she used to carry Paul Roos around on her shoulders. So I'm just telling you, things have changed. You guys would be working right now, all of you. You wouldn't be waiting till July. She used to put a sprinkler on her snow in her yard so it would melt it quicker so she could start raking. So, anyway, you have to understand the spirit of these people that was in this, like I say, they were in the valley before electricity, so, that's where I come from. But anyway, we were able to acquire years ago, her and I, when I was a kid, basically, 160 acres on the Blackfoot. It's been a legacy, and I want to carry on her legacy. It's been great working with these folks. Their personalities make this very simple because this is a lot based on trust, because it is my private property. And I have a lot of, my own conservation I work. I have my book, I have a lot of things. So the relationship has started back when Champion Timberland owned the property. Champion was a great neighbor. Champion was very liberal with their easements. They were very good partners. Carol was very involved in many things. She was a very iconic person, and she's been gone a year. But anyway, the property is a very enjoyable place for us. It's behind a closed gate, but the county has been great since Francis Beeler, and in fact, used to live in it when I was a kid back in the day. So it's been going on for a long time, and we want to help the community. Carol wanted to help the community, and it sounds like so much works on budgets. Money's tight, and money should not be always a driving force behind any of these types of things. That's why we want to keep the lease and the rents low for the community of Lincoln, to make sure that they have plenty of room to do the things they need to do, and we just want to continue that on. I think it's 10 years again, so if I'm not hanging out, I have a couple of kids that probably will carry on the same legacy. So anyway, does that answer your questions?
Thank you very much. I appreciate
Yes,
it.
thank you. History is powerful.
And it's Castagne, right? Is that
Yes.
correct? Proper Castagne.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Jim. How about public comment on this item? Public comment. Any public comment? Any public comment? Okay, hearing none. Commissioners, there a motion, please?
Mr. Chair, I would move to approve the lease agreement between Lewis and Clark County and Chris and Kimberly Castagne, as explained by Mr. Castagne and Jenny Chen.
Second?
Moved and seconded to approve the lease agreement as presented. Further discussion, Commissioners?
Thank you, and thank you to the community spirit of Castagne.
I second that, for sure. Thank you very much. Nice to put face to the name, and appreciate your help with our work and service to the Lincoln area. So thank you very much. And thank you for bringing it forward. Appreciate it. All right, with that, Commissioners, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, all ayes. Thank you very much. It is approved. All right, I have one announcement here, which is from our Community Development and Planning Department, and they would like to let you know that, let's see here, open house will be held in Lincoln for the Growth Policy Update Project. So we're updating our growth policy and all the intricacies with that. It's quite a project. It's going to take many months, but they're going to be holding an open house in Lincoln to talk about that. The open house will take place in Lincoln Library on Wednesday, so right here, Wednesday, April 24th, from 6 to 7:30. 6 to 7:30. So we'd like participation in that, and I can expect all kinds of things. When we put policy on the ground, we have to follow that growth policy. It is something that gets updated every so many years, so this is an update time, and we'd really like community input on that. So if you can make it, please join us for that. Last thing I'll ask is if Mr. Ball, is there anything you want to add? Anything you have for the order?
No, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Commissioners, anything else you have? I would like to point out that Commissioner Rolfe has been extra good today. He's been behaving himself because he's got someone in the audience that's very special. You might want to introduce her.
I'd like to introduce my wife, Judy. We are about to celebrate 51 years of her putting up with me.
Now you know why he wasn't acting out.
All right, there you go.
And I would just like to thank everyone. This has been a great meeting from my perspective, and this many people in the room is really important. It means you care about your community, you're out participating in your local government, which is important, and I think it takes all of us to do this. And if we all get engaged, we all take shared responsibility, if you will, and what happens and how we move forward. So thank you for that. And with that, commissioners, nothing else for the record. We'll stand adjourned. Amen. There you go.